Good morning, guys. Welcome to Stock Talk with Ricky and myself. Ready for a great day today, Wednesday. So just so you guys know, just want to remind you guys to come over to stocktraders.net. We got a great online community over there. We have a free trading floor, free trial for the premium side. Really hope to see you guys over there. Please send us any questions that you have about anything that we're covering. You know, Ricky and I try to put together a couple ideas every day for you on what's moving, what's hitting our charts and stuff like that. Every day coming up with new ideas is sometimes funny, but we always are looking at our scanners and coming up with some. And hopefully, if you guys find it useful and you like what we're doing, please continue to like on the YouTube channel here, as well as tell your friends about it, because everything we're doing is free for you guys, just to try to help you guys out and give back to the trading community. So with that being said, everything is our ideas. Trade your own plans. Make sure you're not just following us. It's not a solicitation. Read the disclaimer, and definitely read it in the description section as well. So with that all being said, I'm excited to see what Ricky has to say about SFLY this morning. So I'm going to turn it over to Ricky. So Ricky?
Thanks a lot, Goose. Welcome to Wednesday Hump Day, middle of the week. Hope your May is going great. The first thing on my list, guys, is TRVN. Let me get my charts up. There we go. So let's just start out with the basics. It's gapping up, but it's not anywhere near levels I'd want it at yet. I'm just putting this out there in case it gets legs. There's not a lot on the large gap scan this morning. So a lot of these things are yet to be seen whether or not they're going to get the legs to put them in play. However, if it gets legs, we need to know some things. It's got a bigger float than most of the turds, right? 66.7 million OS, about a 40.6 million float. They had $16.5 million of cash at the end of the year. They burn almost $6 million a month. They should have about 20 million left on an ATM with Cohen. They do have about 50 million in marketable securities that can be sold from time to time, which makes me think that I don't have to worry so much about them being out of cash because they can convert those marketable securities into cash. However, I think they'd probably rather use that ATM. It's, I think, expiring at the end of this year. It's pretty old. It's from 2015, early 2016. They actually just voted to increase the authorized shares as well. And they also have an active shelf with 175 million left if you take off the 75 million they used for the ATM. So technical reasons, guys, you see the levels to the left. I probably won't get interested in it till over 250. I would love to see 3. It's going to be easy to borrow. You can request through Wedbush. I just don't see this thing having continued strength. But as always, it's got to set up first, guys. So don't just jump the gun on it. The next thing on the list is PYDS. It's another turd, but as you can see, it's already given back most of the gap. I believe it was gapping on news that they had huge gains in their electronic check processing, blah, blah, blah. They're a turd, and I don't really care about their business model at all. They can spin it however they want. They have $4.8 million of cash at the end of the year, and they went from being cash flow positive to cash flow negative for 2017. So spin that one. They got $15.8 million or 8 million share OS, and they have about 7.2 million in the float. So it is decently small. They did an RDO in December for about 1.2 million shares at $2.55. And based on the volume, I believe that most of those shares are still being held by bag holders. So anything that pushes up into those levels should be fadeable. It's going to be tough, I think, for them to get back to the pre-market highs. Might not be in play today, but now you got the DL on it in case it is. Next thing on the list, guys, let's head into the earnings plays for me. NANO, gapping right up into some levels. You see 30, the psych round number. You also have some previous history up at those levels, and should still be plenty of bag holders up there from the last few months. I actually would like to fade this if it first pushes up there and then shows me some resistance. I want to see the sellers come in and anybody that bought recently to become profit takers. The last thing on my list is SFLY, SFLY. Yes, I know it's really Shutterfly. We like to crack jokes around here, keep the mood light. We got about 17% short float, and that's, I don't know how they calculated that number, but if it is 4 million shares, it's more like 25% of the float. They got 33 million in the OS, 18.7 million shares in the float. It's an earnings winner, and we're breaking out to all-time highs, guys. I'm going to look for a wash on this anywhere down to the 85, 86 area. I know we're probably not going to get that. That's probably not in the cards. That's a big wash. But maybe if we even come down to the 20-minute 20 SMA, which is currently at 87, I'm going to look for this thing to start showing some support, and I'm going to look for a long setup on it. The other way to play it is going to be if it doesn't have any chill in the tank right off the bat, if this thing just wants to go flying nuts, I'm going to look for it to extend and then try to scalp it back to the 5-minute 20. 5-minute 20 is currently around 90. If this thing pushes to 100 and stuffs, it's going to look great for at least a short-term float or short-term short. Throw it on there, scalp it, maybe cover half at your target, and then let the rest ride. That's everything for me, guys. I'm going to throw it back to Goose, and then we're going to get this day cooking.
Nice commentary on SFLY. I like that very much. Yeah. Jimmy Snuka, right? So I'm going to jump right in. I actually got a freebie at the end that I really, really like. I'm licking my chops at. So I'm going to throw that in at the end. And it's a nice one. So I'm going to start right off with TEVA, brought up by one of our members in the room this morning. Great eye. There's a beautiful setup that I like. And I'm going to show you what I'm looking at here with TEVA, TEVA. So here we have it closed above the 50 and the 200 day. If you look before, you could see these are prior levels, this 1840 area. It's opening up exactly how I would want it to for a long idea. So I'm hoping that this thing comes in a little bit. Maybe that 1840 area, which you can see I drew, which is right off here, that prior resistance, prior support area, would be a real healthy pullback kind of into that 250, and I'd love to go long. If it doesn't give me that much pull, I still make long it here and use an 1840 guide. So I want to see how it opens. I'm hoping to be patient with it and let it come to me because my first exits, I want to be around 19 or so, see how it does at the figure there, and then a push maybe up on towards this 1950 if it wants to get some legs. So I really, really like the long idea. Great job in the room this morning on with TEVA. So I'm going to jump right into the next one, LITE. And yes, it is gapping, but what is it gapping up into? Look at this area right here, this little consolidation area. You got the 50-day here. Yes, it looks like it's going to open above the 200. I'm okay with that. It's okay if it trades above that. This stock has a lot of range. And then what I put on my tweet, and I just want to make sure I clarify to you guys, I want to be real safe with this because it's had big moves in the past, okay? So just know we can be patient. Anything into the 61, 62 area is going to be really intriguing to me. If it doesn't get there, maybe I'll trade it off that $60 level, looking for a fade back into 57 or better on that. So that's LITE. So lastly, I'm going to jump over to one that I really like this morning I was looking at, and that's going to be Juniper, JNPR. Okay, if you go back and you look at this name, it's up on earnings from aftermarket yesterday. It's got a little bit of coverage, but nothing major. If you go back and look at this, the stock doesn't really have a history of huge moves, dollar moves, and stuff like that. This right here, this candle's a 60-cent move. So two things about this. First of all, can it sustain a $2 move? Absolutely. I'm not saying it can't, but pushing right up into the 200-day right here. I love trading against this $27 area. We'll see how it opens. And I'll be looking for a fade. I don't think it's going to hold this big of a move. Can it? Of course it can. So I'm looking at JNPR as a fade right off against this level. Let's see what happens. I'll look for the open, and I might hit this one pretty early for a fade back because after a while, post 10 a.m., it might already have done its fade and then just consolidate and just kind of grind the rest of the day. So we'll have to see how it acts. Lastly, not to throw too much at you, just want to make some commentary. Obviously, Apple had some, fantastic numbers and everybody's going crazy with Apple. Remember we talked about Facebook the other day, if you were with us, and how one name can pull up a market a little bit. So just, be aware, some of these things get a little bit overly extended based on what the NASDAQ's doing and things like that. Watch those things that are really pushing those markets. If they start to pull back, and some of these names that really don't usually have $2 moves or something like that might come in real fast with it. So have that in mind. Let's have a great day today. Looking forward to tomorrow. I'll see you all at 9:05, and I'll send it back to Ricky for see you later.
Thanks a lot, Goose. And like you said, get over to stocktraders.net. Hook yourself up with a plan. There's so many things happening today. Can't cover them all in just the 10 minutes we try to do this stock talk in, but there's a ton of things that are still down huge from big washes yesterday. We'll be watching to play bounces on those. So don't think that what we throw at you here in Stock Talk is the only thing that we're going to be playing today. Get over to Stock Talk, or I'm sorry, stocktraders.net, STN. Get yourself a plan, because without one, you don't have a trade, guys. Stay safe out there. Protect your capital. And as always, let's go out there and crush it. Peace.